Assalamu alaikum, family. You are tuned in to the Sajdah Morning Coffee Talks, and I am your host, Sajdah Wendy Muhammad. We got a powerful discussion this morning. We're going to be talking about the power of a soldier's hands and the accelerated healing that occurs when those of us that are in the struggle together reach out to heal one another. So be a friend, tell a friend. We'll be back in about 3 minutes after. While we're waiting these 3 minutes, I'm going to show you some commercials. We're going to have a beautiful prayer, and we'll see you on the other side. All right.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judgest, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
Assalamu alaikum, family. Welcome, welcome. Happy Kwanzaa, happy holidays, all of that, whatever you celebrate, may it be joyous for you. So, welcome this morning to the Sajdah Morning Coffee Talks. We got a very special discussion today, and it may take us into tomorrow a little bit, which I think is okay, right? So again, assalamu alaikum to everyone. I really mean peace be unto you. In today's crazy world, the most we can do and the most beautiful prayer as taught to us by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is to wish peace to one another. And welcome again to the Sajdah Morning Coffee Talks. If you're new here, you know that this is where we have honest conversations about life, love, and business, rooted in real experience and real struggle. I'm your host, Sajdah Wendy Muhammad, author of The Art and Science of Business. It's a work that examines how clarity, structure, and human responsibility must come together if anything we build is going to last. All right. So today's conversation is entitled When Soldiers Heal Soldiers, Healing Each Other in the Midst of the Battlefield. This episode speaks directly to the reality that many of us are still in the fight, building businesses, raising families, leading communities, members of the Nation of Islam, members of certain church organizations, sororities. But we're carrying wounds that come from the same battlefield that we're trying to survive. So I want you to think about that. We formed these organizations, we've got these cloisters, we've got nations, we're doing all of this, but in the process, we're on a battlefield that is causing wounds. And oftentimes it's the wounds on the battlefield. As you know, if you ever been in combat or watched anybody in a movie about combat, it's the wounds you incur on the battlefield that can take you out of here. But this discussion is about the healing hands of a fellow soldier, a comrade, someone who understands the struggle because they're in it with you. You know how it feels when somebody who knows what you're going through, or somebody from an organization or a group that you're giving your life to, understands you, puts their arm around you and says, I see you. They're not looking at you as if they're an observer. They're not a critic, but there's someone who has stood in the same fire that you're standing in. Someone who knows how to apply pressure, care, and their presence in a way that actually helps and heals you. This is a kind of healing that only comes from those who know the weight of the mission that you carry and the cost of staying in it. Powerful. See, oftentimes we can't make it through the storm as organizations because we're not healing together. We're not healing one another. We're so focused on our movement towards this rugged individualism. We're trying to defend who we are. We're competing. We're comparing. We're trying to make sure that person doesn't get more attention. We're copying. We're tearing each other down. But there's power in camaraderie. There's power in healing when fellow soldiers come together and say, I love you, I see you. In business, in the community, and in life, we are often taught to push through pain alone. And feel free to comment on the chat if this is touching you, because I really want this to touch us. Because a lot of us are sitting over there trying to push through pain by ourselves. And if we just had somebody who understands, and they understand because they're in the same fire that we're in, it would just heal that pain overnight, instantly. But history and lived experience, they just tell a different story. Soldiers heal best when they are tended to by other soldiers. I'm going to say that again. Soldiers heal best when they are tended to by other soldiers. We're all soldiers. We're all on the battlefield here. I'm speaking specifically to those of us who call ourselves soldiers. Our strength is enhanced and preserved by the hand of another soldier. So pour you some coffee, settle in your spirit, and join me on this moment of reflection, because I just want to talk about this. I was praying on this the other day, and I said, we can heal each other, but we have to be willing to do it. We got to give up this individualism. See, because when soldiers heal soldiers, the battlefield itself begins to change. When I say battlefield, let's talk about what I'm really talking about, okay? When I say battlefield, I'm not speaking metaphorically. I'm talking about life in the struggle, the daily pressure of surviving systems that were not built for us. You may say, well, I can go talk to other fellow engineers. You may say, I can go talk to other fellow restaurant owners because they get it. They in the struggle just like I am. They're battling against the mandatory minimum wages and the increased supply chain and the copycat other businesses. They get it. We gonna. That's why coalitions are so powerful. See, a coalition doesn't have to do anything but come together and support one another. It's great if you have programming to further your cause, but that camaraderie of saying, hey, sister, I see you. I'm with you. Here's an idea. Brother, I got your back. Let me support you. That's why that whole concept of fraternity, sorority, brotherhood, coalition, it really is truly about comrades in the struggle, if you will, healing one another. Yeah, we can have parties, we can have dances, we can have concerts, we can do all of that. But when's the last time you called your sister in the struggle or your brother in the struggle and said, you know what? I love you. I see you. Not because you want something, not because you need them to do something for you, but here's a gift. Here's something for you. I see what you're going through. The daily pressure of surviving systems that were not built for us is a heavy one. The weight of responsibility, the weight of loss, the weight of resistance, and the weight of persistence. This weight, this battlefield keeps you under a constant level of pressure. But what can relieve that pressure like no other? A fellow soldier, somebody that understands what you're going through. And I'm talking about little nuances. Call that person, send a text. When we're amongst each other, you don't have to dominate the conversation. See what that person needs. When I've been studying these early builders of America, I was studying the manifest and had a really powerful spiritual experience from studying the manifest of people who were in attendance at what we now call the Elijah Muhammad House. And what I realized was they were soldiers, and it was the camaraderie that they had with one another. They formed organizations and coalitions and fraternal groups. And you know what they did? All they did was come together and support one another. See, it's leadership on another level, carrying families, communities, and vision, helping to absorb the trauma. A soldier in this context is not an outsider offering advice. Yes. And because we're so much into this rugged individualism, a lot of us have to go seek advice from outsiders. A soldier, a fellow soldier in this context is not an outsider offering advice. It is a fellow traveler. See, when I offer business advice to people that I see who are a fellow traveler, I go harder. It hits different. A fellow traveler is someone who understands because they are living it too. That's who we should be seeking advice from. That's who should be helping to heal us. Someone shaped by the same conditions, the same obstacles, the same demand to keep going even when you are wounded. This conversation is about the healing hands of that kind of soldier, a comrade in the struggle, someone who knows how to show care without weakening you. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get I got some statistics here I want to show you. Okay. Someone who understands when to steady you, when to listen, when to remind you who you are in the midst of the fight. Anybody who is my friend and has had any kind of interpersonal relationship with me knows that this is how I roll. I'm always going to go deep and show you who you are. Stand up, be strong. How can I lend some mental strategy? How can I support you? But this is a cycle, and we have to reciprocate in business, in community, and in life. We are often told and taught to endure silently. That's part of the trap. But soldiers don't heal in isolation. We heal in the presence of others who recognize the wounds without judgment and respond with wisdom earned through experience. We see somebody who's fallen down. We see their heart starting to rotten. We should be trying to heal them. See, there are moments in history when healing does not arrive in the hospitals, but on the battlefields. Moments when restoration is not delayed until we get to a safe space, but it comes right then, right there on the battlefield in the middle of the struggle. There's a measurable science behind healing through the hand and through human touch. Did y'all know that? Let me know in the chat. Give me a thumbs up if you're feeling this. There's a measurable science. Neuroscience and physiology show that safe, intentional touch, attention, just listening a little bit deeper to somebody, giving a compliment, say, I feel you, I hear you. It can regulate their nervous system. It can lower their cortisol levels. It can reduce inflammation and stimulate the release of oxytocin. That's the hormone associated with trust, bonding, and stabilization. Do you know that when you have issues bonding with somebody, having stable relationships or trust issues, that it's a hormonal issue? You need the stimulation that comes from a fellow soldier. In moments of injury or distress, our body responds not only to treatment, but to who is there to present the treatment. Hmm? This is why healing within our community carries a different weight. A hand that's extended to you by someone who shares your lived experience, your history, your pressures, your struggle, signals safety more quickly to the body and the mind. The nervous system does not assess threat. There is only recognition, familiarity, understanding without explanation. That recognition alone can slow the stress response, encourage healing, and create the conditions necessary for the healing even to begin. In communal struggle, a fellow soldier understands how to touch you spiritually, how to touch you physically, how to touch you emotionally without hesitation and without harming you. They know the difference between care that weakens and care that stabilizes. Why? Because they're going through it too. The healing that happens in these moments is not sentimental, it's functional. It restores clarity, steadies resolve, and allows the injured to remain aligned with purpose. If I'm working with somebody on something and they just created something, I understand, because I've been there, how to support them in a way that they need to be supported. They don't need me pocket watching. They don't need me running my mouth about something that ain't got nothing to do with what they got going on, unless sometimes we need to distract them. What they need is me to tune in and recognize, what can I say? See, I pray to Allah to allow me to use his word and my life experience to help heal. And then we can use words. It ain't always about what you can do physically. Sometimes it's just words. Sometimes it's just being there. Among the most powerful historical expressions of this truth are the accounts of wounded soldiers whose injuries were tended by the hand of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. These acts of healing were not displays of comfort or an attempt to withdraw from the struggle. They were moments of restoration so that the mission could continue by the will of Allah alone. The Holy Quran, Surah 26, verse 80 says, "And when I am ill, it is He who cures me." The hand mattered because the presence mattered. Healing moved through trust, shared purpose, divine permission. So the next time you see your brother or sister going through something, don't talk about them. Don't dog them out. What can you say? What would you want for somebody to say or do for you in that moment? And see what you can do to help facilitate for them what they need in that moment. It ain't always about you. Get up out of your head. Get out of your ego. Because if you are healing somebody else, you're sending that energy out into the universe, into a pattern that we learned about in Closing the Gap, that Allah has created, and that pattern is going to come back to you. Black people in America live inside sustained pressure. It shows up in our bodies, in our finances, in our relationships. It shows up in how impatient we are and how tired we are, because we always got to be on the alert. This pressure shapes how the nervous system functions over time. Many of us move through our days carrying unaddressed stress injuries but yet we're still responsible for other people and other things. These conditions leave marks. See, chronic exposure to stress hormones affect our sleep, our blood pressure, our immune response, our emotional regulation, and it affects our ability to trust. Our confidence takes a hit. Our body learns to stay braced, but yet the work continues. I personally believe that if we couldn't make it, if we weren't built for this, we wouldn't be in it. But I also personally believe that the healing is right there in the person on the battlefield with us. And healing under these conditions often happens, see, through connections with people who already understand the terrain. Familiar language, shared memory, mutual recognition. All of this allows the nervous system to settle without explanation. So when the next blow comes against our organization, we are tighter with one another. Somebody got on social media and said some things about me because I made a comment where I said, if we are healing each other and we're operating based on certain principles, we don't really have to worry about whether or not we like each other. And they said, well, if everybody's a Muslim, or if you're in a Muslim organization, for example, or a Christian organization, how could you not like one another? And I thought that was the most asinine comment, because everybody ain't everybody's cup of tea. You may be able to take this same information from me, but you can't take it from the next person. Or maybe somebody else that presents differently, you could take the same information. It's a multifactorial approach. It's going to take a number of us out here working and healing and moving towards economic development, because we all have different things we respond to. But if I just don't like the way your voice sounds, or I just don't like the way you look, or I just don't like the way you do things, if I know that we are operating with the same goal and under the same principles, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because see, soldiers heal soldiers. When one person in the struggle supports another, specific biological processes activate. Did you know that? When one person in the struggle supports another, specific biological processes activate. That's why when you see in movies moments where a fellow soldier gets another one, it could be whatever they're doing, could be positive or negative. Some of you all hear me talk about, I remember, I'm going to share this. May Allah be pleased with our sister. Mother Evelyn Muhammad and I had a moment like this. And I didn't know her very well personally like I did Mother Tinetta. May Allah be pleased with her as well. There weren't that much interpersonal time, but I knew her through my role in the National Secretary's office, and some of the responsibilities that I had allowed me to interact with her on a regular basis. But that personal thing, I didn't know. But some of you all have heard the story about how, and this was years ago, in New York City, and the minister has spoken at the Jacob Javits Center. And without telling too much detail about the money, let me put it this way. We had counted the money, and I was sitting in a room waiting for somebody to come back and pick me up. They said they were coming back to get me. And brother, then Captain Wali came into that room and said, "Sister, why are you sitting in here? Everybody's gone." I'm sitting in here with a briefcase of $90,000 that we owed to the minister. And I was supposed to be getting a ride to take it back to his hotel. So Brother Wali and I think we ran down to the minister's hotel. It was at the Waldorf Astoria. And I had this big legal briefcase, not a small briefcase, but the big legal ones that flap over. They're about 4 to 6 inches wide and about 18 inches tall, something like that. Maybe like 18 by 14 and then 4 inches thick, I should say. And so we get into the elevator at the Waldorf, and the elevator sinks to the sub-basement. And I thought it was a setup. I thought somebody was trying to rob me. So I went directly into soldier's mode. And poor Brother Wali, he kept saying, "Sister, give me the briefcase. Let me help you." I'm like, nope. Long story short, we end up having to climb out of the top of the elevator when Brother Wali cuffed his hands and I stepped into his hands, and they kind of threw me and the briefcase up to the top of the elevator. I kind of fell on my shoulder, and the side of my Vanguard uniform tore and got dirty, and my hat too. I don't know what the hat, I don't know, maybe it was the wall. Something inside of that elevator shaft was black, like black soot. Got there, went to the suite, dropped the money off. And when I walked into my hotel room, when I was leaving that morning, Mother Evelyn, her room was not ready. And I had forgotten all about that. She was even still in my room. And there was a mix up over her room. I think it wasn't going to be ready until the next day. And I said, well, I'm not going to be here all day. She could take my room. And so she was still in there. And I got in, it must've been about 11:30 or so at night. And when I walked in the room, this is a soldier's healing moment. I was filled with a lot of emotions because of all the stuff that had happened in that little short period of time. I didn't know what was going on, but I was very emotional, and I was in overload with my senses. And I walked in the room, and she just looked at me. We never said a word to each other. And she looked at me, and I looked at her. And I took my Vanguard jacket and my hat off and laid it on the bed and went into the bathroom. And when I came out, consummate MGT, she was over there scrubbing it with something to get the black soot off of it. And then she had her needle and thread, and she was sewing it back up, putting the tassel back on, consummate MGT. She never said a word. And I was so tired and so out of it. I just laid down. And when I woke up that next morning, she had cleaned that uniform. She had sewed that shoulder back on there, cleaned that hat, and hung it on the door. Never said a word to me. But it was her hand that healed me and taught me how to be a sister. She didn't need any words. She released all that dopamine, balanced my central nervous system just by being a presence in that room. Put that uniform back together. I remember getting up. I went in the shower. I came out. I put the uniform on. And when I turned around and looked at her, she gave me a nod. I'll never forget that. There was so much said. It just brings me to emotions now. But she gave me a nod. I was telling her grandson, Brother Elijah, about this a few weeks ago. I said, I'm sure we exchanged the greetings, but she just gave me a nod. And I went out the door in that uniform. We never talked about it. There was never an explanation. She didn't say what happened to you. She didn't say, are you okay? She didn't say, did somebody jump you? Did somebody throw you down? She didn't say a thing. It was the chemistry is what she gave me. She healed me. She addressed me. She addressed my wounds just with that presence. I never heard back about it again. She never said, yeah, I remember when, none of that. It was just that silent moment. And we can all be that to one another. What does that look like for us today? It shows up as mentorship. Listen, let me tell you something. We're so crazy nowadays. Even if you try to mentor somebody, they don't even want you to mentor them. They don't even want you to talk to them because we're so busy trying to figure out how do we make ourselves extra special. Some of our prayers are, oh, Allah, give me a special favor. What? Think about what's embedded in that when you say that. But even if people reject the mentorship, I still offer it. Mentorship that restores your confidence and your direction. Somebody who's been through what you're going through. I know we like to think we're super smart and we can do all this stuff. But if you got somebody that's been there, who will coach you in an unbiased way, not in a way that speaks to their trauma, but mentorship. Accept mentorship from somebody. Seek mentorship from somebody. Because what you will learn as you navigate through life is that you don't know what you don't know. And if you just have somebody to say, hey, sis, calm down, make a left turn, do this, make this decision, let's review this or that, you can avoid a whole lot of mistakes. Share resources with people. That helps to reduce some of that survival stress. Pass on wisdom that you may get from your experience. I make a lifestyle out of passing on my life experiences. Y'all know I tell y'all all the time, I pay for this experience with my blood, sweat, and tears. They don't even make the kind of careers anymore like the one that I've been blessed to have. Praying for somebody, spiritually grounding. Take your prayer time where you used to begging for yourself and pray for somebody else. See, healing restores our capacity. It protects us against excess judgment. It helps us if we're in leadership. See, soldiers heal so they can remain effective, focused, and aligned with the purpose. A healed soldier strengthens the formation around them, right? See, research in neuroscience and psychology confirm that support, touch, trusted social connections. We talking about cortisol levels reduce. We talking about increasing the oxytocin. We're talking about dopamines, stress regulation, resilience. Let me tell you something else. When we begin to heal with one another like this, we strengthen our camaraderie. See, you go to battle with somebody that helped you to heal. It closes the ranks. Again, this is why things like coalitions and fraternities and organizations, and especially if you are building a nation, like many of us are, this type of healing will strengthen our camaraderie. Why? Because it restores our trust. It gives us an emotional safe space and shared responsibility within the group. When people feel supported by those who understand their condition, cooperation improves. Communication becomes clearer. We stop worrying so much about self-protection. See, a military unit that tends to its wounded move with greater coordination and steadiness. The members check in on one another. They share information freely and respond to stress without turning on each other. See, there's a bond that is reinforced through repeated acts of care that signal to your nervous system you are not alone in this. When healing is absent, let me go back to this, because one of the things that I would do often is we do a corporate structure or a corporate read when we go in as consultants. And you could always tell there are certain signs in the organization that there's not a lot of camaraderie, or even if it's fake. When the healing is absent, the signs are obvious. There's a lot of tension. There's just this energy. There's this ugliness. There's a lot of tension. People withdraw. People are robotic. They become irritable. There's a lot of mistrust. People don't share knowledge. Little small disagreements escalate quickly. Like small disagreements make us hate each other for life. We're resentful because we're tired. We're operating in isolation, even though we stand side by side. So that military unit may still function, but it does so with a strain. It functions with inefficiency. It functions with the inability to push dreams, vision, and ideas forward. There's an internal friction that paralyzes the unit. And over time, these unaddressed wounds weaken the morale and reduce the group's ability to move forward together. I'm just going to close this out with this. And you all let me know in the chat if you got questions, comments. Listen, I don't like to give these kind of statements and then make it sound like gloom and doom. We're still here. We're still standing. We're still capable of repair. We're still capable of renewal and responsibility. Let's open up, because some of us are distant from people and we don't even know why. We don't even remember why we met. See, the wounds we carry did not remove us from our purpose and what we showed up on the planet to do. So you can get mad and say, well, I'm going to go over here in the corner. But that don't change the fact that you've been called. It don't change the fact. We got to heal. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us that love is the strongest force in the universe. Love is the strongest force in the universe. Love, when expressed through responsibility and care, becomes healing. It restores our trust, it calms our fears, and reestablishes our connection with one another, where the strain of our disconnection has impacted our organization. That love creates an immediate healing to our organizations. Healing moves when we make love very practical. We stop doing harm. Stop with the words that are hurtful. Stop practicing predatory capitalism. Pay attention to our intentions and make sure that our intentions are not set up to abandon someone. So we have to self-examine. We have to ask ourselves whether our presence brings steadiness or strain. whether our hands help restore or they remain closed, whether we contribute to the healing of the unit or if we're weighing it down. See, when soldiers heal soldiers, the mission continues and is strengthened. May Allah heal our sight so we can recognize one another. May He steady our hands so we bring relief and not injury. And may He soften our hearts so that we remain connected to the struggle. Let me see what y'all talking about in the chat here. And I know that it's interesting because whenever we talk about subjects like this, I get these notes from YouTube, you violate community guidelines and blah, blah, blah. I don't know what to say. If we're talking about something very lighthearted, there's no tech issues, there's no community violations. But anyway, Mom says, happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday, Mom. I see you, Brother Lamont, in the house. He says, wa alaikum salam. Good morning. And I pray you all are doing great this Friday. Thank you, and thank you. Look, we woke up. Dress code. Waleik says, wa alaikum salam. Sister Ida's in the house. She says, greetings, family. Brother Ronald is in the house. Brother Ronald says, assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings. Let's see who else we got over here in the chat. Brother Lamont said, this is hitting home. Thank you. Sister Ida says, absolutely. We got a thumbs up from the fifth dawn. Thank you. Dress code sent emojis. Thumbs up from all of you all. Thank you. Thank you. Share in the comments how this hit home for you. We got a few minutes. Sister Ida says, we are really under siege 24/7. We just cope. I agree. I agree with that. We are especially equipped to aid each other. That's from Sister Ida. Who is this? At Muhammad Direct says, that's right, sis. We are not robots. That's right. George Jackson says, excellent. FYI. I think they mean fire. Brother Ronald says, absolutely. Just getting y'all comments in here. Sharing great business solutions. That's from Brother George. Brother Ronald said, thank you for sharing this timely message. Gives me the strength to meet and overcome the obstacles in the pathway. Yeah. And let's try to be a source of healing for one another. And says, are all mentors paid? I don't know what you mean. Can you expound upon your question? Laverne Muhammad 1084 says, are all mentors paid? I can speak generally about that without knowing specifically what you're asking about. Many times there's different types of mentorships. Like oftentimes in corporate America, they'll set you up with somebody who's a mentor and you don't have to pay them. They're part of a program. Other times, mentorship can come in the form of employing somebody. It can come in the form of you being paid. It comes in various different forms. So without knowing the context in which you're answering the question, I hope I got to that, but it can come in different forms. Okay. Zachary Muhammad 1538 says, loving this. Unity is our healing. Yeah, you're right. I think, yeah, I agree with, and it's interesting because does our unity heal or does our healing create unity? Because you hear a lot of people talk about, well, Black people ain't gonna never unite and we ain't gonna never and we gotta look for like-minded people. If we are looking out for each other, healing one another. I was watching the other day, I went into the store and there was an elderly woman who was walking into the store. And I watched these two brothers who looked like they were in construction go over to her, help her with her cart. They're talking to her, asking her where she parked. And I just thought it was so beautiful. It did something to me because I said, now that's what I'm talking about. I'm sure that lady was nervous because she looked like she had lost her car in the parking lot. And they just started helping her and got her groceries in the car. I don't know what happened when she got home, if she had somebody there to help her. But what do you think that did to her nerves and her nervous system to just have these two beautiful brothers come out of nowhere and assist her? Not try to knock her down and take her purse or take her groceries or nothing like that. Very powerful. All right. I hope this helped us today. Let's see. What do I got to tell you all? Sunday, we're going to be at Masjid El Taqwa. So if you have not registered and you're in Chicago, you still want to come, it's not too late. Look on social media. You'll see the event there and you can register. The fifth Don said we have to take the time out to actually care about one another. Oftentimes we think we're so busy, our relationships become transactional. You know what? You better say that again, the fifth Don. These transactional relationships, where it's so crazy. People will watch somebody hurt you. They will watch somebody steal from you. But because it's benefiting them or benefiting somebody that they love, they make a choice and just it becomes transactional. What they doing for me? What do they do for me? They got the ability, they could get it back. Sometimes with people, it's all about what you can do for them. The transaction. We have to take the time out to actually care about one another. Oftentimes, we think we're so busy, our relationships become transactional. So may Allah bless us all. Sister Sabira says, Assalamu alaikum, family. Brother Ronald says, may Allah continue to bless us all. Be safe and be well. So, So Masjid El Taqwa. What else? The book. Y'all got your book? Use the QR code. Go to Art and Science of Business. If you want to book me for anything, go to SajdahWendyMuhammad.com. Write down all the websites that I got flipping. I only got 3. ArtandScienceOfBusiness.com, SajdahWendyMuhammad.com, and ElijahMuhammadHouse.com. It's a great time. Some of y'all got a lot of extra money over the year in. Support independent work like this by giving a donation, because that's what it's going to take. Ida says that's predatory capitalism again. What are you talking about, Sister Ida? You talking about the transactional relationships? We got 5 minutes. So if y'all want to put some comments in there, tell me what you mean, Sister Ida. And I don't mind commenting on it. Soldiers heal soldiers. Say it again. Soldiers heal soldiers. Yeah, the transactional relationships. Yeah, that is part of the predatory capitalism. It is, for sure. Okay, family, we're going to go. May Allah bless each and every one of you. Thank you, and thank you. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Central Time, right here on the Sajdah Wendy Muhammad YouTube channel. Remember to support. You go to those websites, the Cash App's there. You can support via credit card, however you want to do it. But your support is needed, much needed. Join the mailing list. And inshallah, we will see you all again tomorrow morning. Don't go anywhere. Check out this commercial. If you do not have your commemorative Elijah coin, I strongly urge you to get it, because we are just about done with the database, where you'll be putting in your individual coin number that becomes your membership number, and you'll get access to a lot of different things, a lot of products, a lot of businesses. You'll get discounts to a lot of things at businesses, discounts on products. You'll get access to tours and different things like that. But if you don't have your coin, I strongly urge you to get it. And there's so much. I'm going to do another show about coins and the power of coin. As I was studying the other day, and I was studying Constantine, and a lot of what we know about Constantine and how he looks, do you know, is from a coin? That's how powerful coins are. Anyway, if you don't have your coin, make sure you get it. Check out this commercial, and we'll see you all, inshallah, tomorrow.